The amount of people I've had tell me that they're struggling to find enjoyment in recent life and farming sim releases due to how overdone the genre is quickly becoming has started to shock me. I'm always a fan of new cozy and casual experiences, but I'm picky in the sense that I need to feel a genuine uniqueness in a game, or at least a depth in the storytelling that warrants the reusing of concepts and mechanics. I'm happy to report that in our next title, I was pleasantly surprised by both the challenge and mystery that lie just under the surface of the sands we were sliding down. Hi, my name's Lil, and this is my review of Wildmender. For those who haven't heard of it, Wildmender is a farming meets survival sim that will have you transforming a decayed world into lush meadows and rushing oases. While the world might seem empty at first, you'll quickly discover you aren't alone as you see a pair of creepy orange eyes staring from a distance. And the further into the sands you chase them, the more you find out just how spiritually alive the world really is. It'll be up to you and your persistent efforts to push into the unknown, while also growing and maintaining a garden to ensure your own survival. The entire experience was a fine balance between base management and open world exploration, with a somewhat punishing fast travel system to keep the challenge of a survival game alive. To those who enjoy a purely cozy experience, this one is going to push you out of your comfort zone and force you into regions that'll suffocate you with poisonous fog and salt flats that will dehydrate you in minutes. So buckle up for a more serious survival experience. Now that you know what it is, let's talk about some of the gameplay. The most impressive part of the Wildmender experience is how balanced the game feels from start through 10 hours in. In the beginning, you'll struggle to push too far out into the desert, with your water pouch and inventory limits making it extremely restricted. Slowly, you'll acquire new plants and make restoring your food and water levels more efficient as you obtain upgrades to your water and storage pouches, making longer excursions an actual possibility. I mentioned a punishing fast travel system, and that's because fast travel points require you to unlock them through the use of acorns and magical energy. But during your early days, you're limited in the amount of acorns that you'll find around the world, which is why I'd highly recommend bringing a few back and raising them up in your own garden to ensure a steady flow of acorns from your own trees. This simple step is what made the survival experience feel far more casual the longer I played. By nearly 10 hours in, I had developed a routine of tending my garden during the heat of the days, basking in the shade of my full-grown oak and witchwood trees, and ensuring my soil-restoring shrubs didn't get too parched. And come nighttime, I'd take a handful of berries and acorns with me to the furthest portal possible. From there, I'd venture to the next one, unlock it, and then return home. It was a pretty seamless experience the moment I had acorn-producing trees and a steady supply of food in the comfort of my own backyard. It was so unique from the typical cozy experiences I've played recently, and it's what kept me moving through the world, destroying the different camps of wraiths, healing the natural water wells, befriending fey creatures, and hearing the tales of ghosts to increase my own knowledge. Another unique aspect to this game is that if you want to level up your skills, you'll need to acquire skill points in different trees. And that means unlocking achievements related to that tree, or hearing the story of a ghost with a background related to the skills you're attempting to acquire. What do I mean? Well, let's say you're looking to unlock new construction recipes. You'll need to obtain a skill point in the survival tree, and to do that, you'll need to find a specific ghost that has survival knowledge. Sometimes they'll have quests related to them, or you'll need to offer them a gift in exchange for their knowledge, but I found it to be an incredibly immersive way of having to explore the world to obtain those coveted late-game recipes we all love. Touching on the combat, despite the fact that this game wears a cozy face, you will have to use your empowered mirror to beat up the big bads of the world. These include different variants of wraith creatures with their own unique attacks and mechanics to dodge. I honestly didn't find the combat to be a challenge, and there are a few upgrades you'll unlock later on in the game that make it more fun and visually engaging as well. So if you're worried about it, then my advice would be to not overthink it. You can also just adjust a lot of the raw gameplay options, such as spawn rates, enemy damage, and whether world hazards are on or off. So if you're looking to just enjoy the raw exploration and restoration experiences, and you'd rather not deal with survival aspects, that is an option. Let's talk for a second about the farming and gardening aspects, as they are a key component in the gameplay, and quite necessary for your continued survival in the harsh desert conditions. This isn't your typical fix-up-the-family farm plotline, and the longer you play Wildmender, the more you'll learn the vital roles each plant plays in the game. The trees are necessary for acorns and portals to unlock. The assortment of desert berries and fruits will provide your stomach with the nutrients it needs not to kill you during your travels. And the seemingly random shrubs and flowers will help you restore the sands to soil and grass, while also providing you with the spiritual power you'll need for just about everything in the game. Yes, your plants directly control how much magical power you'll be able to harness and store in your wellspring. And if you neglect them, don't expect to be unlocking portals, hearing the stories of ghosts, or traveling around the world. On the reverse end, having a lot of plants can be extremely time consuming, as the further they are from your wellspring, the more you'll be making treks back and forth to keep them from being parched in the desert sun. Of course, later in the game, you'll unlock some automation systems and wards that will make your plants more resilient to the desert conditions. But that's not an early game luxury, so plan accordingly while it's just you and your trusty water jug. To those who enjoy beautifying their garden oasis, don't worry, that exists in the game as well. But again, it is much more of a late game mechanic, so if you want to get there, you'll have to be willing to chase those decorations like your life depends on them. Or make the game much easier. Either is a viable option. I want to talk about the actual world travel for a moment, and while it's incredibly punishing in the early game and left me flustered and dead more than a few times, the more I discovered, unlocked, and upgraded, the easier it was to scale mountains within seconds, cross huge gaps with the ease of a magical branch, and leave a flower trail so I never forgot what buildings I'd explored ever again. As frustrated as I remember being during my early hours in the game, now 10 hours in, my enjoyment of expeditions has tripled, and my deaths have dropped to near zero. The movement becomes extremely fluid and fast the longer you play, and that was greatly appreciated as the empty desert sands are horrendously boring to walk through at a snail's pace. It's time that I find that one thing to gripe about, but I honestly feel like the experience the game morphs into after a few hours was a genuine challenge, with a unique story, and interesting mechanics that had me more focused on planning my garden properly and choosing the more useful abilities rather than feeling like the game had no focus and the gameplay was just slapped together for random moments of enjoyment. There was extreme amounts of intent behind the different aspects of the game, and it was an experience I'm still enjoying. I listed my frustrations with the early game being more challenging than most in the genre might enjoy, but that's quickly negated by the options to adjust your world to the experience you want. And I like to be punished until I've learned the ropes, so I appreciate every minute of the early gameplay I experienced. Wildmender has that unique ability to blend itself to what each individual gamer wants, so even those who aren't typical fans of survival can enjoy the tranquility and beauty that comes with a magical desert oasis, and those who prefer a less cozy and more hostile experience will find that waiting for them too. I'll state that Wildmender is being awarded with our Pillow Fort stamp of approval, and stands as a far more original entry in both the survival and farming sim genres. We've enjoyed our time with it, and have to give a huge shout out to the development team for allowing us to hop in and experience it. You can expect future updates from us on this one, so make sure you hit that subscribe button before you go if that interests you. As always, you can find any and all Pillow Fort links in the description, so if you need something, it's best to check there. For now though, we'll say thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.